No one is immune from the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. So you're understanding more about narcissism. You are learning about energy, about empathy, about mindset, about trajectory of your life, about purpose, about being tricked, about being trapped, manipulated, about the trauma bond, about gaslighting, about stonewalling, about how little the narcissist cared about you and how little they care about anybody. What you're realizing now is that the narcissist not only knew what they were doing, but they were trying their best to burn you out. They were trying to steal everything from underneath you. And they wanted you to remain a loyal subject, a loyal servant. They wanted you turning a blind eye. They didn't want you trusting your instincts or your intuition. And they wanted you to continue to be revolving around on that hamster wheel of abuse as long as they needed you to do things for them. Well, this all went away once you figured out what narcissism was, or perhaps once you ended it yourself, the relationship that is, or maybe even when you were discarded. Any way you cut it, you're out of the relationship, and you're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and you're understanding so much more about yourself and about what another human being is capable of. Now, on this planet, there are many different types of people. It's not one size fits all, and there certainly are more than two types of people. Referencing, there's more than just the narcissist and the empath. There are so many different shades of different types of people. Everything that you've experienced in your life to this point in time has made you you, just like it's made me. That's why this is your fingerprint. And this fingerprint is what the narcissist wanted to erase from your hands. They didn't want you to have an identity. They didn't want you to be yourself. They didn't want you thinking for yourself. They wanted you to be mush. They wanted to be able to mold you and to groom you and to trap you and trick you and manipulate you and future fake you and string you along as long as you would possibly stay trapped in that narcissistic relationship. Now, who is immune to the narcissist's wrath? Stick around for the video and you will find out at the very end who is immune to the narcissist's toxicity. It will surprise you. The narcissist continues to slither through life. They continue to look for what is known as supply. They continue to find it harder and harder to find supply sources. Because in 2026, again, we are all, every single person on the planet, we can feel the energy shift. And there's a massive shift being undertaking right now on the planet. We're now in the 5th month of the calendar in the year 2026. And you should know now more than ever that you're not who you were even yesterday. You're definitely not who you were a couple days ago. You're not who you were a week ago, 5 years ago, etc. Because now you're seeing the light. You are seeing the light within yourself. That's the same light that the narcissist saw in you the day you met them. The thing is, they weren't going to tell you that. They weren't going to say, wow, you are such a beautiful, kind, compassionate, empathetic, honest, upstanding, sensational, and original human being. They're not going to tell you that. What they're going to tell you is, yeah, okay, great. You have some things going for you, but my ex had 10,000 things more than you, so I guess you'll do for now. See, they downplayed everything about you, and they didn't want you believing in yourself. They didn't want you thinking that you could ever break the chains. They didn't want you ever seen behind the mask. They didn't want you figuring out what narcissism was. They wanted you stuck on that shelf of abuse in the closet with all the other dozens of people who are trapped in the narcissistic relationship or the narcissistic abusive cycle. And most of those people will never see the light of day. You may say, whoa, that's rough, Andrew. Why are you saying that? Think about what I'm sharing. I've been saying the same message for 5+ years. You are different than most people. You are different than most people. You cracked the code. You figured it out. You now know what narcissism is. Most of those people that you are thinking about or considering, many of which you will never know, most of which you will never know about. Some of them aren't living right now. Sorry to say it, tough pill to swallow, but it's true. And others are still trapped and stuck. And then there's you. You are just like me. You're strong. You're resilient. You have the wisdom. You have maintained your purpose. You've maintained your empathy. You've maintained your ability to love, etc. Your heart is not hardened. You do have an open heart. You have a huge heart. I have a huge heart also. The narcissist knew that about you and, of course, about me, and they tried to squash that, if you will. They tried to extinguish your heart, your energy, your purpose, and your life. Yes, I just did say that. But they failed because you are different. Now, who is immune to the wrath of the narcissist? Think about it. Who is affected by narcissism every single day on the planet? It wasn't just you. Was it your siblings? Possibly. Was it your parents? Probably. Was it your colleagues or coworkers? Definitely. Was it your neighbors? Probably. Was it your bestie? Could be. Was it your kid's wife or husband? Possibly. Was it people in the coffee shop or in traffic or on airplanes, etc.? Yes, yes, and yes. The answer to the question of who is immune to the wrath of the narcissist, here it is. It's nobody. Think about what I'm mentioning to you. Narcissism affected you for a period of time. That was the apex predator, the 800-pound gorilla who was tethered around your neck, who was on your shoulders, trying to get you off your game, trying to steal everything out from underneath you. Well, what were you doing? You were experiencing death by 1,000 paper cuts, and you kept on trying to fix an unfixable relationship. The narcissist knew that you would do that because they knew that you had that huge heart. They also knew you had a high level of empathy, and they knew they had done this before, so they would do it with you. Well, what happened? Eventually, you figured it out. You figured out what narcissism was, and the rest is history. You're healing. Well, the narcissist affected not just your life. They affected your friends' lives. They affected your siblings or your immediate family members' lives. They affected the people you worked with. They affected the people in traffic when you were driving your car to work. Everybody is affected by the narcissist. Every single person. It wasn't just you. Now, the main point and the main focus of this video is you, because you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. You need to realize and you need to remember that everybody is affected by the narcissist. Everybody. Think about it. Think about the powers that currently are in control of the planet. I'm not going to mention any names because that's not what I do, but think about it. Whatever city, town, state, country, jurisdiction, island, whatever location you live in, well, there are rules. Think about that. Whoever made those rules makes the rules or made the rules. A lot of those people were toxic. Now, you may not agree. You don't have to agree. I'm trying to open your eyes. I'm trying to get you to think of different possibilities, that everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet called Earth. And most people that you are considering right now are either toxic, yes, I did say that, or they've experienced toxicity. Now, you may say, well, you just told me that everyone's affected by narcissism. No one's immune, so who would be unaffected? I'll tell you right now who would be unaffected. There's a very small group of people, tiny group of people, who haven't, that have been sheltered, we'll say, and maybe they were brought up in a household or family that doesn't have narcissism, and maybe they were still stuck in the 2020 days, if you get my point. Homesteaders or people that are off the grid, etc. If there's no narcissism...
Come on. Oh, no. Oh, what happened?
By the rules, regulations, jurisdiction, and everything else. They still have to put gas in their car. They still have to get wood to burn. They still have to get seeds to plant, etc. So all it takes is one person to throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing called life. You didn't know that back then. You were thinking everyone was similar to you, and that everybody had your best interest at heart, and that certain people who turned out to be toxic were just having a bad day, week, month, year, decade life. Well, now you know that there's your narcissist right there. Ding, ding, ding. You see, we are all affected by the narcissist. This is why I've been sharing this in 2026, and I'll continue to do so, that you need to go no contact. You need to block that person, delete them, remove them, and you need to do your part. When you do your part, as I've done my part, the narcissist has less avenues to slither off and to approach other people. They can't approach you any longer. Now, you may say, well, yeah, they could hoover me. Well, you should be unhooverable. You should be off the radar of the narcissist. That is true. Doesn't mean they still can't hoover, because you can't control what the raging narcissist does. That's not even counting other narcissists that you don't even know about yet. Maybe you encounter them. Maybe you go to an Airbnb in the middle of some state or some country, and there's the narcissist checking you in. See what I mean? They're everywhere. I'll say it one more time. The narcissists are everywhere.
They are.
You, a beautiful, bright, shining light, you, the empath, you are just like me, but you are scattered all over the planet. Now, what is happening? I will tell you exactly what's happening. first of all, no one's immune to the toxicity of the narcissist. Second of all, there is a massive global energetic shift taking place on this planet. It's been taking place for a while, but it's really, really grabbing a stronghold or a foothold right now in present day, which is May 8th or whatever it is today, 2026. You can feel the energy shifting. You can feel your energy changing. You're now having boundaries. You're putting up boundaries. You have a one-strike rule, not 3 strikes like in baseball. Strike 1, 2, 3, you're out. You have a one-strike rule. Somebody crosses you. You don't defend. You don't explain. You don't take the bait. You just move elsewhere because there are 8.3 billion people on the planet, and you don't have to explain or defend yourself to a complete toxic parasitical creature who's trying to lure you into a web of communication. Yes, you're right. There is no script, and now you're finally getting it. So all of you naysayers, you need to understand something. I want to put this to rest once and for all. What does the narcissist have? This is a side note pro tip. And notice the beautiful, bright, shining light right there. That's you. That is you. That is me. I just noticed it. I don't have the best vision, but that's the beautiful, bright, shining light. You need to embrace it and understand it. Think about what the narcissist does. This is the side note pro tip. The narcissist uses a script. Why do they use a script? It's because they're all from the underworld. They're all connected through the dark energy, and they all use the same playbook, which is boring, it's dull, it's old, it's jaded, and it is really pathetic. But that's what they do, and they will continue to do that for the rest of the time. I don't use a script because I don't need a script, because I lived in the narcissistic abusive cycle for quite a long period of time. That's not even counting all the other toxic people that I encountered from my childhood all the way up until, let's say, even today. But what happens when you've been through toxicity and you can see it crystal clearly? That's not toxicity. That's the beautiful, bright, shining light that shines within me and you. See that? That's energy. That's me. That's you. Which is why when you've lived an authentic life, your whole life, as I have, you don't need a script. Others may need scripts. God bless them. Do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I really don't care, to be frank. But the narcissist needs a script because they have no originality. They have no creativity. All they know how to do is steal, mock, claim ideas are theirs, etc. So that's why the narcissist continues to use the same script over and over and over again, because it's worked for centuries. That script is coming to a screaming halt, an abrupt ending. The curtain's dropping. No one's buying tickets for the performance of the pathetic, anxiety-riddled clown show, narcissistic people. No one's doing it any longer. They're not. And if you haven't cut the ties with the narcissists yet, you really need to do it, because you don't want to be the last person to cut the ties with the narcissist. If you are, they're going to be crawling all over you like ants crawling all over you when you have honey dripped all over you. You get my point. Having said all those things, you need to understand something. The narcissist won't change. They won't introspect. Nobody's immune to toxicity. You need to really take the bull by the horns. You need to understand that you are the priority, that you come first, second, and third. You've been in the cycle, you're out, and you're healing. And you need to really, really understand this. Once you're out, you need to stay out. You need to be fortunate and grateful. Not that you're in the cycle. Of course we don't want to be in a cycle. I would never want to be one in a billion years. If I knew that I had encountered narcissism throughout my life, I would have looked the other way and disappeared. I didn't know. Now I do. Which is why I don't entertain toxicity, and you shouldn't either. You need to realize that these people will continue to approach you over and over and over again, because nobody's immune to the wrath of the narcissist. They will continue to try to get your attention, continue to butt dial you, or send you a bogus email, or say that they got a flat tire, or bring up something from 20 years ago, or send in a flying monkey to ask why you didn't celebrate their birthday, whatever it was. And I'm not referring to the narcissist you are thinking about specifically. I'm referring to other people who you haven't even identified as toxic yet. They're everywhere, and they are really, really bubbling up. Think of these cicadas that we have here in the Carolinas. They pop up every 10, 12, 15, 18 years. I don't know what the number is. But when they pop up, you can hear them. They go, eh. Well, right on cue. There's birds right there. It's beautiful. But the narcissist is like that. The thing is, they're about to be extinguished. The narcissists and all their toxicity very soon will have no place to go to. No place to hide, no place to run to. There won't be one rock that won't be unturned. There won't be one corner that they can lurk around any longer, because the light has been activated and you can't turn it off. Once the light is activated within you, as it is with me, can't turn it off. This onus now is on you to not only do the right thing, to do your part, to maintain your boundaries, and to help out those loved and trusted ones that are around you, whoever they are. Remember, at one point, you were the new supply. You do not want to be the new supply. The new supply is the last person on the planet that you want to be. That person is in for a very, and I do mean very, long road.